I don't know how many of our listeners, our viewers, remember Eretz Nihederet from the early 2000s during the days of the Intifada. They had a character named Rukhail, and Rukhail was the religious, fanatic, extreme one who abused Arabs. And maybe she had some twisted tendencies and was crazy and all that. In the end, Rukhail's people foresaw October 7th, and in the end, our generation, the one that grew up on songs of peace and Oslo songs, took the hit and is paying the price today. There's a bunch of people sitting in studios with cushy government pensions, or closed markets, or cartels, and they say in a messianic tone, who are they anyway?
What do you call a person who has a vision that looks beyond the reality they're stuck in, here and now? What do you call someone who tries to lead toward a new reality, one that's better than the current empirical reality? Without a vision that looks beyond the horizon, you can't get very far. In recent years, the title Messianic and the term Messianism have become dirty words among those who consider themselves the elite in Israel. What did David Ben-Gurion think about this? What does the incoming head of the Shin Bet, David Zini, think about it? We're about to find out everything. Hello to Topaz Ram, VP of Innovation and Strategy at Novel Millennium and a media personality. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, dear Alex. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Always a pleasure, Topaz. So let's start and see what Ben-Gurion himself had to say about the concept of Messianism.
I am a Jew first, and only then an Israeli. What sustained the Jewish people throughout the generations and led to the creation of the state was the messianic vision of the prophets of Israel, a vision of Jewish and human redemption. The state of Israel is now the instrument for realizing this messianic vision.
What was good enough for Ben-Gurion is apparently no longer good enough for the elites of today's Israel.
That's funny. Try to imagine him running in the Labour Party primaries today. Try to imagine him speaking in today's Israeli media. You know, as Jews, we believe in the resurrection of the dead. What would happen at the resurrection of the dead with David Ben-Gurion?
I guess within 2 months they'd open a case against him, and all his close associates would be called into Lahav for questioning.
Absolutely. And you look at the modern progressivism of the elites today. I don't even know if you can call it progressivism or elites, because in the end, it's the elites who control the conversation. The progressives on Twitter are just foot soldiers. The elites are afraid of change. Everything we see, every made-up problem, it serves someone. If there's no peace, then there's war. It serves someone. If there's a high cost of living, it serves someone. If there are problems with army recruitment, it serves someone. We live in a country with a ton of problems because these problems simply serve a very, very draconian establishment that is terrified of any challenge to the existing order, no matter the cost. And you look at the word Messianism and you're like, these people are, first of all, against initiative. They're against individual freedom. They're against independent thought. They're against everything that represents Jewish thinking, which at its core supports. And it doesn't matter if you're religious or not. I'm not taking this into a religious discussion. Hebrew thought, which came out of Egypt, said, "We will no longer be in Egypt. We are leaving slavery for freedom. But with this freedom, we're not going to serve some god king. We're not going to worship a golden idol. We're going to build a promised and sovereign land by the people themselves." I'm proud to be messianic. I'm proud that I also have messianic friends. And today, unfortunately, when people say that word, it's been stereotyped as someone from the hilltop. He's an anarchist or something like that, because in the end, they were actually the most connected to reality.
So let's see what Major General David Zini said last week, a clip from his speech at his discharge ceremony. So, as Major General Zini said, my friends, we are all messianic. Messianic like David Ben-Gurion and messianic like the founding fathers of the nation, who saw in the great vision of our people a message for the entire world. Tell me what Messianism is, and I'll tell you if I'm a Messianic. In any case, Messiah is not a derogatory term, and pay attention to this. Thanks to this constant burning point, we strive for continuous improvement in all areas of our personal and collective lives.
A non-liberal society is one that strives to live out the ideal, like the Catholic Church, like communism, like Islamist regimes. In such societies, if you as an individual are not part of that ideal, then you have no place in society. And why does that make it a non-liberal society? Because it's a society that doesn't allow room for personal advancement either. This society says, if you're not already here, you're not here. If you're here and you're not developing, then you have no right to exist. And in my opinion, from a personal perspective, the New Age movement is actually a product of Western society. Western society comes from us, and that's why the people, the Hebrew people, the Jewish people, aren't the most educated and successful in the world because of some kind of magic or some sort of global unfairness. We are the most advanced people. We are the most advanced people in the world because we are the only people who, at the very core of our foundations, have a place for personal growth and self-improvement. We are a society that knows how to show compassion. We are a society that knows how to ask for forgiveness. When people look at Yom Kippur with cynicism, for example, and first of all, a lot of the people who look at Yom Kippur cynically, unfortunately, are often speaking out of ignorance. But when you look at Yom Kippur, you say, wow, this is an amazing thing as an idea. A day when society tells you there is soul-searching and self-improvement to be done. The Jewish holidays, every Jewish holiday, a holiday in Judaism is not meant for going out, getting drunk, drinking, and partying. It's meant for self-improvement. And that's why, in my opinion, the whole discussion about Messianism is also a very big test. Is Israeli society a liberal society that can embrace self-improvement, forgiveness, and initiative? Or is it an idealistic society, a bitter, vengeful society, keeping score? Notice that the people who speak most harshly against Messianism are the most idealistic people. They're the ones whose standards are so high that 80% of the public can't live up to them. That's why even dictatorships and totalitarian regimes, in every possible aspect, from how they run their parties to how they view the judicial system. And this is definitely part of personal development.